Oh, Jesus Christ. Our ancestors, they came with the horses. To get to Riga, it took 100 kilometers, it took 2 days, and that means that you cannot go faster. And that's important thing. So you need to stop, to socialize, and then to go to the next place. So you cannot drive, like just put the fuel and drive some 800 kilometers because you need to do it. It's unhuman. When you need to go from point to point and start to think that I will need to stop here, I will need to recharge. And by the way, maybe I can get to know somebody, get to see how they live here. So it's better for the communication between the people, because this communication nowadays is lost mostly. Go to collect some mushrooms. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is airplane. 100. 100 in 2 seconds. That's what we thought about. Yeah. Go to the forest and collect something, it opens so many doors in our brain. And we are collectors and we are hunters. That's what we became of. This is a World Cup in mushroom picking. Very beautiful.
It's like gravity doesn't exist anymore, you just do whatever you imagine. Just go and feel the wind and throw your body around, like, yeah.
Once you get the feeling of it, how the wind works and how it affects your body, you can just use it unlimited. We had a couple movies. The first one, which was a couple years ago, was with Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible. Tom was actually doubling Hollywood stars.
This is so cool, like this is really cool. Like the brakes is so enjoyable, really. Like I could only like drive like this to Riga, like, you know, just accelerating and braking. What I enjoy is that we don't have lots of people in our country.
A lot of trails and I would say a lot of places that are untouched.
Yeah,
like people haven't ruined it.
We traveled with a car and we stopped and we saw these ruins. It was ruins in that time. And we just came in and immediately we understood that this is our place. Industrial Soviet type pumping station. I fulfill my old dream. My best book in my childhood was Mystery Island by Jules Verne. It's about Captain Nemo and Nautilus submarine, and here we put some imaginated part of this submarine made from stainless steel, just to contrast with house which is covered by cotton steel, which rusts and stays nice brown.
Loft living, it is the way of the way of living. And nowadays people, really creative people, try to live in these unusual conditions. To live here, that is outstanding. That's not traditional. Traditional houses are at the waterfront, and you have these small windows and you go over the dunes to the sea, but here, sea is here. I want to die here, I said already.
This dramatic change is what happened in Latvia, in former Soviet Union, of course made my life very, very interesting. Because in 1990 we regained independence and I became Director General for the Department for Foreign Economic Relations in Cabinet of Ministers. I became Minister for State Reforms. I became Prime Minister. Man had to change his life in 5 years and then start something else. And I actually followed this rule. Latvians are quite calm and we like guests. Not maybe so much as Georgians, but still welcoming.
The Latvian landscape and wood, to go into to see the sea, to go into wood, to look at the sky. And our color is gray. 1,000 shades of gray. Sorry.
This radio telescope was built in 1964. It was built for Soviet Union Army purposes, mostly for observations for another military object and also for space observations.
It's more like a submarine, because most of the parts, including the staircases, were borrowed from USSR time warships and submarines. For example, the system which gets this telescope moving is actually a gun turret from a ship with a cannon. Instead of a cannon, we mount up an antenna and we have a radio telescope. This astronomy research is actually more of a global thing. An international team linking these telescope sites in network can do this kind of research. It maybe doesn't solve anything in particular for people right here in country, but it definitely helps for Latvia to integrate in global research teams.
This place might be a sort of a goal to prove that this is a great place and people should come, enjoy everything. I mean, maybe us, maybe the country, maybe the local area. It's a great place. This place was in some ways built on a goodwill. You can come here and you can drink a tea, honey and bread in winter. I left Latvia in '79. I was 17 years old. I was getting into trouble with my thinking. I was kind of radical, so I was running into problems and troubles with the local authorities that are basically communist. In North America, I was becoming a better skier. Then I was getting better. Then I made a national team. Then I quit the school. Then I went to Olympics.
Came from Latvia about 10 years ago. What was it like getting out of that country? Freedom.
He showed up at a race and we're like, who is this crazy Latvian?
He was one of the young ones coming up that we older ones had to watch because he was doing really well.
I was starting to feel really strange and I passed out in the street. And then it turned out that my Olympics were over.
We have our own flag now. We have our own anthem.
Sometimes in your life, there are just these things. It's like a puzzle, you know. It comes together, and maybe you work for it. Maybe you challenge it. I don't know. But these are the times in your life, and when these things come together, you just do it.
Everybody goes across the continent, so we decided to go the other way, from north to south.
You see the country and you meet people, you meet rednecks, you meet cowboys on the way, all kinds of people. I'm very proud of my country, of course. I do not agree with a lot of things, and I just explained why. I think we could be smarter. Latvians were hard-working people. Some damage was done by Soviet Union, and now the modern times, that also. Take me to the next level. Wow. Hey, it's clean. I'm not used to sitting in the clean cars. Next time I prepare my road better for you.
You ready?
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, this is fast. It's unbelievable.
Why I'm a chef? I love food. I like to cook very much. My first profession was conductor of choir, choir dirigent, and but I couldn't finish the school. I was kicked out because I was a bit punk. In culinary, you read the recipes and books, and if you play music, you read the notes. And then after you read all the books and all notes, and you can play your own music, or you can cook your own dishes. The Latvian food, if we talk about Latvian food, well, there is some interesting combinations. How we like to eat cucumber, fresh cucumber with honey. I'm not sure that anywhere else people are eating fresh cucumber with honey, but we do. We were under so many different kings through the centuries.
and that influence comes from, Germany, Poland, Russia, and Sweden.
This is still a land of big opportunity. It is kind of like, wild, wild west where you go and you can build things from scratch. But it's changing quickly. We still have a lot of Soviet mentality, so it's not really that simple. But if you kind of understand how things work, it still is, I think, by big part, a land of big opportunity.
We have absolutely beautiful nature. We have a lot of empty spaces because on this land we live only less than 2 million people. It's 64,000 square kilometers. It's 3 times bigger as Belgium, let's say.
The nature is like absorber of all our instabilization, all the stresses, everything. You just go to the forest and calm down. And once you enter the nature, you just go out back in another shape, renewed.
Greatness is just being yourself and just dominate at a high level over years and doing things that no one has ever done before. As a junior, I was really, really talented, but getting into the senior level, I was still kind of young and naive and felt like I didn't need to work as hard to compete at a high level. So I feel like going to Athens and not actually making it through the first round really helped me to say, you know what, I need to look into myself and understand that if I want to be the best or if I want to win an Olympic gold medal, I need to be more dedicated, I need to work hardest. Justin Gatlin played a very important role in keeping me motivated because he kept me on my toes, he kept me working hard, he kept me knowing that every season he's going to be there. If I want to be the best, I have to be ready and be prepared to beat him. So for me, the rivalries were strong, and for me, Tyson and Justin and Asaf and Blake, they really pushed me throughout my career to stay on top of my game at all times, to be the best me. When I lost at the trials, it was tough for me at the time because I felt like I was in properly good shape. So it's something that it kind of hurt a little bit because I thought I was ready. And so after the trials, it was like, all right, it's just about work. And so it was consistently working 4 times a day for the next 5 weeks leading up to the championships. And so for me, it was a lot of intense work because Blake kind of opened my eyes and I knew he was ready and he was fit and he was running at a high level. The London experience was brilliant. After the semi-finals, my confidence went up because I ran fast times, but I did it really easy and really smooth. So my confidence kind of went even higher because I didn't really compete after the trials, so I didn't know where I was. So actually going through the rounds was the first time I actually started running again and could tell that my body was in great shape. So for me, I felt great going through the rounds. I got more and more confidence. I knew I was in great shape to defend my title.
Yeah, perfect, like this. Good?
I think dominating throughout the years is very important to the legacy that I've built for myself. Because anybody can win 1 Olympics, but to actually win 3 back-to-back Olympics over the span of 8 to 10 years is very difficult, you know what I mean? For me, that's how I kept myself motivated and focused because I didn't skip a year. I didn't focus on 4 years to come. I focused on every year throughout because those years were also important to dominate and to keep training and working at a high level. The seasons that stand out for me was my first one in 2008. That was the first year I really started training at a high level, started doing everything my coach said I should do. So that season was very important and it was very impacting for me. 2015 was one of my toughest seasons competing, but for me the most fulfilling because it really shows that with hard work anything is possible, you know what I mean? I believed in myself. I came out on the day and I just executed, you know what I mean? I believed that I could do it and I got it done. When I watched the Olympics, I really missed it, you know what I mean? Especially watching the men 100 meters and not seeing a Jamaican in the finals, it really made me miss and really wanted to be there. For me, the girls really did extremely well for Jamaica. They really showed up. Again, Carson, as you said, for me, really showed up and blew my mind. You know what I mean? Running 45 seconds over hurdles is no easy feat. And also Alex Felix, she actually got a medal after going through all with having a kid and everything and going through what she did to really show up at the Olympics and really just get on the podium is a massive feat. If I had to relive a moment, it would be 2011. I think for me, that's the only blunder in my career throughout after I started in 2008. So for me, I would definitely want to redo on that one.
The Kalahari's got its own draw. It's vast and it's forever. You've just got to get into those sand dunes on your own, and there you're going to find a lot of solitude. It can seem like a place of massive emptiness, but you suddenly find 5, 6 different animal tracks right there. There's this huge amount of life, and when I'm on a filming project, I really like to try and live like the animals do so that I can experience the hardships that they're going through. I want to see wildlife in a totally different context. And that's really, I suppose, what draws me to the Kalahari. It's the vastness and the openness. I really enjoy being able to see these massive distances. Those are great images and things that stick with you.
March 29, 1951. In New York, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg are convicted of conspiracy to commit espionage for passing nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union. They die in the electric chair 2 years later, the first American civilians to be executed for espionage. 1971. Army Lieutenant William Calley Jr. is convicted of murdering Vietnamese civilians in the My Lai massacre during the Vietnam War. Correspondent Morgan Beatty.
The charges, at least 22 unarmed and unresisting South Vietnamese men, women, and children were slain at My Lai in 1968.
Calley ends up serving 3.5 years under house arrest at his quarters at Fort Benning, Georgia. 1973. The last U.S. combat troops leave South Vietnam, ending America's direct military role in the Vietnam War. 2 years later, South Vietnam, including its capital, Saigon, falls to North Vietnamese forces. And 2005.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Attorney Johnny Cochran dies in Los Angeles at age 67. Cochran was best known for his successful and controversial defense of O.J. Simpson during his murder trial. Today in history, March 29th. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,